TV. Hello, my name is Brenda. I am a psychologist. Last week on Clean Money TV, we talked about what mental health is, the misconceptions of mental health, and the risk factors for mental health. Today, we are going to talk about what are some of the possible causes of mental health and what to look out for, and who are the mental specialists to go to and when. One of the possible causes for mental health is trauma. There are situations that we'll go through in life, either us or someone else, that will need a mental health specialist to come in to assist this person to get on back to their normal life or to continue living normally, because it's highly likely they'll not go back to being who they were, because this has already happened. Let's say, for example, rape. Rape is a very psychological, intense, and traumatizing kind of event that one goes through. So they go through guilt, they'll go through blame, and they'll even withdraw from other people because they feel this is something that was really personal to them and no one else understands, especially people around them. They don't get what they went through. That's one traumatic event that can lead one to seek a mental health specialist. Another one is history of mental health. If you come from a family whereby there's someone, it could either be your mother or your father, anyone in the family has a history of mental health. It could be bipolar or depression. You could seek the services of a mental health specialist so that they can do some tests on you to see if you are at risk of getting mental health or if you are okay. Another cause of mental health illness could be medical problems. Last time we talked about cancer, and it's still something that we can talk about because that one is usually a very challenging time for anyone, and it's usually quite long term. So if you're going through a medical problem like cancer, there are various psychological processes that you go through. Because first you have to accept what is happening to you. And you're wondering, why is this happening to me? Maybe no one even in your family has had cancer before, it is just you. And the chemotherapy is draining, and maybe the doctors are not even saying anything positive about your recovery process. You're likely to get into a mental illness, either anxiety, depression. That in a case like that, normally you would be linked to a psychologist to go through some of the phases that you're going through in the cancer process. Something else to look out for when you're thinking of seeking the help of a mental specialist is change in behavior. Change in behavior could be categorized in different ways, either for you as a person or for someone else that you live with. For you as a person, in case you're having trouble taking control of your life, you're always anxious, you think you're withdrawn, or you're now suddenly too loud. These are some of the signs that you can look for or look for in someone else. Let's say you're a parent and you have maybe a teenager, an adolescent, or even just a youth or someone else who's living with you, and suddenly you see them withdrawn. They were always active, but suddenly they're withdrawn. That means there's something in the back end that is bothering them that they don't want to talk about. Maybe they don't want to talk about it to you, but they can talk about it to a specialist. So in case you see some of these signs, you can take them to a specialist. You can also see a change in moods, either for yourself or for someone else. If it's for someone else, you will see in the morning, they're very happy. When it gets to the afternoon, they're highly agitated. You're asking them a question and they're having outbursts, they're shouting, and you see this as a trend. It's not just happening once, it's happening every other time, even for yourself. But then for ourselves, we are usually in denial. So we find that we don't really want to accept what is happening to us. We are thinking maybe it's just stress, it will go away. Something else also to look for is anxiety. There is normal kind of anxiety because every day we face something new. Let's say you're going for an interview tomorrow. You don't even know what is going to happen after that interview. Will you ace the interview or will you not get the job? Maybe you've been jobless for a while, so it is okay to be anxious about it. But when it now becomes intense and persistent over a long period of time, you should go and seek help, because that means there's something that is triggering you to want to react the way, okay, there's something that's triggering you to react the way you're reacting. So either you're going for a public speaking kind of event and you're the public speaker and you're feeling like you can't breathe, you're sweating, and the words can't even come out. That means that you can't speak in a social kind of setting, because there's so many things that are running through your head. You're thinking, what are these people thinking about me? What if I don't say the right thing? So many things are happening in your head, and that means you can seek help. In case you're experiencing or you are seeing someone else experiencing some of these causes or some of these signs, who do you see? You'll ask yourself, you'll wonder, because most of the time you'll want to ask your friend, you'll tell your friend who will tell you what they think. But at the end of the day, they're not specialists. So who do you see? There are different categories of mental specialists that you can see. So today we'll talk about two, a psychologist and a psychiatrist. So let's go to the differences between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. First, a psychiatrist, they diagnose and then they give treatment. For a psychologist, they do not give treatment. Their initial form or their core form of treatment is talk therapy. Yes, they can give medication, but after they've specialized into clinical psychology, that is when it can happen. But then it also depends with where that clinical psychologist is, because there's some places that you'll go and a clinical psychologist is not allowed to give medication. So they refer this person to a psychiatrist. For a psychiatrist is a doctor by profession. They have gone to medical school and then now they specialize in psychiatry. A psychologist just goes for 4 years and then specializes in their master's and in their PhD. You can actually go to a psychologist and not need to go to a psychiatrist. But then you can go to a psychiatrist and they will refer you to a psychologist after they've given you treatment. So when do you go to see either a psychologist or a psychiatrist? So a psychologist, you go when you see change in your behavior. And so this could be maybe you're either feeling you're too anxious, or you're feeling like you're withdrawn, or either you're talking too much, or either something traumatic happened that has affected your normal daily routine. For a psychiatrist, you go when you feel that whatever symptoms that you're experiencing are too serious. So let's say in a case for maybe you're hearing things, suddenly you hear things that are telling you now leave, and you leave. Or either you're now talking about things that are not even existing. So people will now tell you, they'll wonder what is happening, so they'll tell you about it. If someone tells you about it, you can seek help. And in the event that you actually don't want to seek help, the people around you can assist. They can take you to see a mental specialist, who is a psychiatrist in this case. One of these kind of mental diseases is schizophrenia or bipolar. Because for these mental diseases, you will need medication in order to come back to normal. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. If you want to talk to a mental specialist, you can call the numbers below. Thank you. This is Clean Money TV.